Hey everyone, today's video is about my Fuji x100, Fuji Pix x100 camera. I've done one video on it that was basically an unboxing and first impressions, and I wanted to do another video just to let you know how it's going, you know, what I think of it now after having used it for a little bit. But it's aps-c size sensor, which is basically, it's a small camera, but it has a DSLR size sensor, and sensor size means everything to the quality of pictures. You have to have a big sensor to get depth of field, that blurred out background you see in a lot of pictures. It just gives it that sense of high quality the larger the sensor you have. So most of your point and shoot cameras that you can go buy at Best Buy or Amazon or whatever, they have tiny sensors, and you can tell just in the graininess of their images, the overall quality, the flat view of the image. Basically, most cell phone, it's my opinion here, but mini cell phone cameras nowadays are just as good, if not better, than many of the point and shoots you can buy at wherever. Fuji's come out with a small point and shoot body, smaller size body, with a fixed lens system, and it has the aps-c sensor size. So it's the trend right now in photography electronics is big sensor, small body. So the reason why I bought this one was it's just cool looking. It has the retro style, and again, it has the big sensor. I hated the point and shoot I had, the Canon S90. A lot of hype on that one, and quality is not very good at all on it, in my opinion. So this one, it all goes back to image quality. I buy a camera to have nice looking pictures, and this camera produces amazingly nice looking pictures. They look very high quality. The color is astounding on this camera. Some reason that if you shoot RAW or JPEG, that the just colors that it produces are so vivid and accurate that in some instances it seems better than my Canon I'm using. And people notice these pictures. I have a lot of family pictures that I get, my family they comment to them, and it's just amazing the way this camera can produce a good image. So again, the sensor size has amazing background blur, and the camera takes advantage of it. It produces it. You get some just stellar looking images from it. And then again, the color. Now, the other advantage I like is that it's simple to shoot with. You know, I don't have to fiddle around with different lenses. It is, I'm stuck with the 50mm equivalent lens, and that's it. So no fiddling about, basically, and that's relaxing to some extent. And I'll say that, and again, the looks look really nice. It's fun to play with. It's fun to have as a camera. And then, so what don't I like about it? So I'll say that I'm running the latest firmware. I forget the exact version, 0.10 something. As of let's see here, September 2011. And if you get one of these cameras, you have to update. Go ahead and update to the firmware. It's worth it, the latest firmware. But so I'm using what's available right now, and my big gripe is that when you turn on the camera for the first time, you haven't used it for a while, and you hit the on button, it is so slow to start. I handed it to my wife the other day to take pictures, and she thought it was broken. It didn't start. So it just takes forever to get going. Every time it does that, you just feel like maybe it is broken or something. Once you have it on and you're shooting some pictures and you turn it off, and kind of on and off function, it's a little faster. But that first startup for extended time, it's so slow. The other complaint I have is that there's an auto ISO function that it basically chooses the best ISO for the setting. It tends to default to the to the highest ISO at all times. It's kind of a drag because you think you can shoot a little bit lower, a better quality with lower ISO, and it seems to default to that higher one all the time. And I'll have to say that my Canon 5D does that too as well, 5D Mark II. So it's relative compared to other manufacturers that's doing the same thing. Certainly you can set it manually yourself. Don't get me wrong there. You can specifically say I want it to shoot in 200 ISO. But then you know, you're not using that auto feature. The other thing I'm not crazy about is the on-off switch. It's on top here. You can flick it real easily. It can snag on things, or you can accidentally hit it with your fingers, but you can shut it on and off easily on accident. Minimal thing, but it's kind of frustrating at times. The other thing I noticed is that when you're shooting in, you have a choice of shooting in macro mode, which is you can shoot up real close to about probably like this distance, and then you can shoot non-macro mode, which is normal shooting mode. Normal shooting mode, the focusing distance is. Another thing I was going to say is that the menu button on the back here does get a little hard to press at times. It's pretty small, and it can be, it's never gotten stuck, I'll say that, but I'll say it's just a little bit small, and I would like to see that done maybe a hair better. What I would say is kind of a big negative that I've seen so far is kind of a combination of multiple factors. One being the slowness of initially turning on the camera, combined with focusing that can be somewhat slow for moving objects if you don't have the precise settings. Very specific ISO. I mean, you have to have it completely dialed in for a good picture usually. So if you let's say you have kids and they're doing something funny, you want to capture on camera, you race over, you grab your camera, or you happen to have it with you, and you flick the on button, and then you may or may not have it set to some of the auto image features, and you may have it to the wrong ISO, so you have to kind of fiddle with those things quickly to get the right shot, and then you have to focus it, and if you don't have those dialed in perfectly, the focusing could be a little slow. So what I'll say is that for the combination of those factors, my shots that I can keep are lower. My hit rate, I guess, I don't know what the word is in the photography circles, but my keeper rate, how many pictures actually show up that are usable for you, is lower with this camera than it is for my Canon camera. So if I take 10 pictures and my kids are running around the room, let's say I may only get 2 or 3 from this camera that are usable, and that's kind of an impromptu shot. You know, I didn't stage the scene, I didn't have a tripod, I didn't have all my settings dialed in perfectly right, I didn't pose my kid, for example, or my subject. So then my hit rate's going to be fairly low with this, and again, moving objects. Listen very carefully to the profile I'm setting up. Moving objects, not dialed in settings, not a staged event. Okay. Now, that being said, when you do have your settings dialed in and you have specific intent to take a planned photo, right? You're doing landscape, you're out there doing travel photos, or you want to take a nice picture of a family member and it's planned. What you're going to do is I mean, the most extreme scenario is you'll have a tripod, and but let's be honest, most people don't. I usually hate to use a tripod. So use the tripod if you can. Otherwise, you have time to dial in the right aperture, dial in the right ISO. You can dial in the correct shutter speed, and you take your picture. And when you do it right, the pictures on this are absolutely amazing. I mean, hands down, beautiful colors, very sharp. Depth of field is nice. It's just amazing. So again, listen very carefully to what I'm saying. When you have a planned photo, the image quality on this is just stellar. It's worth having. It's amazing. People really comment to the photos and recognize there's something special about the camera. So for me, that it still outweighs the negatives, but I specifically have to think about what I'm going to shoot, and now I'm training myself to, if I'm in a family situation, kids may do something kind of funny, try to pre-set up the camera as much as possible. You know, if you never know what's going to happen, put it on the auto modes. You can go ahead and put it on the auto ISO as well, and you can usually get some pretty good ones. So that's my comments. Again, I want to make sure everyone understands I'm not knocking the camera at all. It has some features that maybe can be improved further in other firmware, maybe. But again, the colors and the image quality is so high. When you really try to take a good photo, it's worth having to me. Questions, comments, let me know. Feel free to subscribe. Whatever else. Later.